today I'm talking about how to make friends on pony camp. Now, I'm probably not the best person. I've always been pretty good at making friends because I love talking to people. I've always, my dad's a pretty good communicator. I used to be really nervous, believe it or not, but you learn it, it's a skill, and the only way you can do that is by putting yourself out there, being friendly to people and not worrying about people who aren't friendly to you back. Because so you have to, you know, I always say this, guys, but most people in life are not going to like you, and you just have to accept that. There's lots of people that I don't really like, they don't see eye to eye, they have different views than I do, and I accept that 80% probably of the population won't like me. So you just have to accept it as well, and don't let that hold you back from meeting new people and discovering opportunities, which comes from connections. Remember, every single opportunity in my life has happened because of a connection, whether it's a family connection, whether it's a joint venture, whether it's other horse riders. They all progress and help you to progress forward. So ways to make friends on pony camp. Now, just a little bit of background. I found it difficult to make friends on pony camp because every time I went to pony camp I was on a horse, or no, a pony, sorry. Tiddles was the one that springs to mind, who I went off to pony camp and no one told me that he absolutely hated other horses and kicked anything within a sight. So first day I get absolutely ticked off because I haven't got the little red ribbon, and you know that bit where they say, oh, everybody change horses, you get to go on a different horse. No one wants to swap with me. So I know what it feels like to be stuck in the corner. I know what it feels like for not to be allowed to join in because your horse is so nuts, because I was always borrowing cheap horses, not cheap horses, but horses that weren't mine because I didn't have a horse or a pony when I was younger. My first pony actually I got at 15 that I owned myself, not me but my dad, which was just amazing. And I would encourage anyone, if you don't have a horse or a pony, you need to work towards an ability to ride one. And literally I would advise you to sacrifice everything. I did. I worked at 13, I was paying for horseshoes and riding lessons, and I was mucking out and doing all the rubbish jobs, but it has changed my life, and I definitely recommend that you do that. So the top 3 ways to make friends at Pony Club Camp. 1 is to be open and friendly. So people can really tell how you feel about them by the way that you move, the way that your expression is. There's a lot of things that you don't realise are cues. So if you go up to someone and you're all sort of nervous like this, like you wouldn't watch me if I was like that. I'm animated, I'm smiling. It's very visual, and you need to be like that. You don't need to be over the top, but when you go to see someone, act like you're really interested to see them. You don't have to act because you probably are actually interested to see them, but take an interest. So it's really common in human behavior that we want to think about ourselves, we want to talk about ourselves. But to make friends, you need to listen to them. You need to find out what their hopes and dreams are. You need to find out what they want to do. So what I would recommend that you do on the first day is start by introducing yourself. Hi, my name is, and say, is this your first time that you've come to camp? What's your horse? And then just ask questions about the horse, and that will get the rapport and the relationship building built, and it will be amazing. Honestly, if you just started asking, well, what's your horse's name? How old is it? What kind of competitions? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Are you part of the British Show Jumper? You can form that connection then, and once you have it, it's a funny thing, like even if you're traveling abroad and you meet somebody from England, suddenly you're best friends because you have that connection, and you need to form those little connections. So number 1 is to form that rapport. Exaggerate your movements, be really happy, so try not to be nervous, try and smile. Number 2, and ask them about their horse and what they've been getting on with, and ponies as well if you're looking at this and you're going to Pony Club Camp. Second thing to try and make friends and get on well at camp is to make sure that you're giving as much of your time. And sometimes, I'm going to say advice, but sometimes you don't want to give people advice, like they're learning from the instructors, but be generous with your time. If someone asks you whether you could put the hay in, or whether they would help you brush or help you hold the horse, try and be generous with that time. I know that camp can be stressful because you're doing your own thing, but actually by helping others, you build that rapport, you build that friendship, which will last for a really long time. So we talked about number 1 being friendly, being open. Actually that covered quite a lot of things as well. 2 is being generous with your your time. And 3 is being sort of considerate as well. So for example, if you're doing a exercise, then make sure you're moving your horse out of the way for them, let them go first if they want to go first, or if you can see they're a bit nervous, you might actually push yourself out of your comfort zone and go first. If you notice that they're struggling with a question, I remember being absolutely petrified in pony camp when they were asking me a question I just didn't know, and one of the girls was just whispering in my ear saying, "Oh, this is it," and that was really, really helpful. All right, guys, that is the top 3 things to help gain friends at Pony Club Camp. So I hope that's been helpful, and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Bye bye.